Welcome to the Between the Pages podcast. Today we are going to talk to you about gratitude, right? Teaching kids about gratitude in everyday lessons.
It's in line to me because it's in that season that we're currently in.
Moving towards Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving and the spirit of Thanksgiving. And the Bible talks about having a spirit of Thanksgiving, believe it or not. And so, and one of the attributes of that, I would think, there's probably lots of things associated with Thanksgiving, being happy, rejoicing, spending time with people. But one of the other parts of it is just being grateful, having gratitude for, what's been done for you, and, that, your health is good, or your health is better, or, you're with your family, you're with your friends, that kind of thing. These are all things that you can be grateful and have express gratitude for.
Which I think a lot of people work towards during the Thanksgiving season because it's all about things.
Right, so then how do you carry that forward?
Yeah, because I know there's so many different activities and things about, let's write down what we're grateful for, what are we thankful for. Right. And it's like, but really you can do that every day.
Right, and that's one of the things you probably should be working with your child on.
Yeah.
On a regular basis. That's one of the topics that's kind of something we're looking at as far as a book related to gratitude. Because there's lots of other books out there on gratitude, and they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty well written, and I'm not trying to fill a niche there, if you will, a niche, if you will. So, it's one of those kind of things, right? But how do you express gratitude on a daily basis or on a moment-by-moment basis? Just being, thankful for your food.
Yeah. Which I think is like the biggest one that it's easy, thank you for letting me be here today. And the food.
Well, and that's because
those are pretty much covered all the time.
That's because there's been tough times in your ancestors' lives, and the food is a daily struggle to survive, really, and so that kind of sticks with you. But the other thing that's difficult is to be thankful for a home, clothing, and this might be hard to believe, parents.
Yeah.
You be thankful for your parents, that they love you and care for you and provide for you and that kind of thing. Well, the child looks up and goes, no, the parent is an impediment to me. They don't let me do what I want to do. I want to run wild. I want to do this or that or the other. So, it's like, you have to teach that. Yeah. You have to teach that, and the thing is along with that comes respect, and so if you develop a respect for people who are older than you, then life is going to go much better for you when you actually do manage to break free and at 18 or 16 get your first car, driver's license, whatever. And that's when true freedom really begins, because now you can go anywhere if you got gas and money and time. So
really, the freedom.
You got it.
I was like, man, it's like I remember back in the day when you'd be like, I want to go here. Do I have enough money in my bank account? We're going there. We're gonna go see whatever's over there.
Yeah.
Now it's like, if you want to do anything, it's at least like a month ahead. You gotta schedule off work. You gotta make sure everything's good. You gotta. It takes all this time to get all the kids ready and everything packed, and it's like, we could just stay home.
Planning sometimes can be more of a burden than you think, and so, just go on a trip without a plan. Just go wherever the wind blows. I'm just going to go this way for 4 hours, then I'm going to turn right, whatever. Well, you're going to wind up somewhere you don't intend to wind up at.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be like, what am I doing here? How do I get back where I came from? You don't know.
Yeah.
It kind of, planning kind of is a beneficial step, as opposed to, relying upon your friends. Oh, I know how to get up to, Ward's Point or wherever I'm going. I know how to get there. No problem. next thing you know, you wind up out in some cornfield.
Haven't we seen this tree before?
Yeah, it's like, where are we?
When you start recognizing trees, you've been going in circles.
And then there's another word that comes along with that, lost. You're
Yeah.
lost, okay? You don't know where you are, you're lost. And so, it's kind of being grateful for the things that you have and the people in your life and that kind of stuff. That's a tough lesson to teach.
Yeah.
But, sometimes you can't teach it.
Yeah.
And sometimes your child or whatever needs to learn that through the experience of someone else. They have a friend or a neighbor or some other person they know, and they see what happens to them, and they go, well, like we've been out, in public, and we've seen families and stuff, and some siblings are just unappreciative that the other siblings are there. You're interfering with my, what I can order. I can't have dessert because you didn't do this or that or whatever. And it's like, and it's just like, just be grateful that you have a family. Be grateful that you have siblings, and whatnot. A lot of people wish they could have that. There are children who are only children who wish they had a brother or a sister or both. And so, it's that kind of thing. Be grateful for what you do have and appreciate. And I know it's difficult. Yeah. It's a hard thing to do, to kind of, when somebody's especially whatever. But, you need to learn to develop that spirit of gratitude, a spirit of thanksgiving, and that kind of thing. And that's a hard thing to teach. And sometimes, like I say, that you have to rely on outside people to teach a lesson you can't teach.
And then there's like the reverse of it, the dealing with, when things don't go how you, because it's easy to be like, oh, everything went amazing, I'm so thankful for this. Right. But when things aren't so peachy clean amazing, you can still find something to be
grateful for. It's kind of a strange thought, but when things don't go your way, well, you could be at least thankful that it didn't go as bad as it could go.
Yeah.
Or you could be, well, okay, that didn't work out, but here are the things that did go well for me today. And so, it's that kind of thing. Well, you got to learn that.
Yeah.
You're
not doing that as a kid. That's why it's like sometimes when we're at the park or we're doing something, I'm like, Eleanor had a toy and a kid came and took it or whatever, and it's like I could be like, oh, hey, other kid, you don't need to treat my kid that way.
You're gonna get in trouble with
that. The world's not like that. The world's they're gonna cut you off. They're gonna do whatever. You have to just kind of figure out how to still be okay with whatever you're doing.
Yeah, and if you're getting angry about something like that, what you ought to actually do is not focus so much on what the other person has done, but why am I angry about this?
Yeah.
Why is it affecting me this way? You need to have a little introspect and learn to manage to cope with a little.
Yeah, it's so funny because I feel backwards sometimes because other kids will do stuff to Eleanor at the park, and I'm like, it's okay. The world's not going to be nice.
Right.
And then she'll do something, and I'm like, no. We don't do that. We're not going to be like that.
Well, treat other people like you want to be treated, but at the same time, you don't have to be a doormat. You don't have to let other people just run over you either. So there's a balance in there.
Yeah.
There's if it's trivial, who cares?
No big deal.
But if it's a big deal, somebody stole your bicycle, Well,
and at the park and library and things, there's not really much big things going on. It's just like, I wanted that piece of Lego, or I was sitting in that chair, and it's like,
I was reading that book. It's that.
Yeah, that happens at the library.
And
Never happens.
Never. It happens all the time to me. People come
they
over
have
and
so
take
many
my book.
toys and stuff in the library. It's like we only get to read once we leave because it's so much other things, and it's a whole world there.
Well, it kind of goes against the idea of a library, doesn't
it?
Yeah, but I guess so. Gratitude is a difficult thing. It's a hard thing to teach. It's a hard lesson to learn. But like I say, you can learn it through being instructed.
Well, and that's the thing. It's as a parent, you need to take on that role to teach her. You don't need to just let them grow up and then all of a sudden you're 14. Oh, you need to start being thankful and have gratitude.
Well,
It's
yeah,
like,
you know, and it's good that you do that, and then help your kid learn that, your child to learn that, and then, you know, like I said, there's the outside influence of a neighbor or a friend or someone, acquaintance, that you learn from their experience to be more grateful. But then there's the next phase where, you know, someone you know or something or whatever is having a difficult time, and you're in a position because you've learned gratitude, you can explain it to them.
Yeah.
You know, and so your child eventually, you know, you have succeeded when you can see your child explaining to some other person, a friend, a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. I mean that like in just a friend sense. You know, to be grateful.
Yeah.
You know, you've accomplished the mission.
And sometimes it is hard to find those things to be grateful in turmoil or whatever, but there are still things to. And then sometimes I think when something's so bad, people are able to go, well, you know, at least we're all still alive, and so they can be like a car accident or something like that, and so they can be grateful about that. But it's hard when there's, you know.
Well, I think God, at the same time, you know, this is my personal opinion. I think God doesn't want you to be putting things above Him.
Yeah.
And so, if the thing that, you know, you're talking about, say, you know, say it's something to do with your home or something, and you know, you're just my home is my home, and it's my castle, and that's and all this and everything. Well, if something were to happen to that, say a strong wind came along and, you know, did damage to it, or some other event occurred, you know, some people might not be grateful that their lives were spared, you know, because they will feel like, oh, I've lost everything.
That's so wild, because I just heard this woman I used to work with, I just saw, I didn't know any of this about her, but she just made a huge post the other day. She's moving back to Florida because there was some hurricane that had happened and got rid of their whole house. And she was able to move in with like her sister up here while they, you know, got things together. And I think they were up here for like 4 years or so. And they're finally moving back. And it's like, wow. But she was all, you know, thankful for the opportunity to have somewhere to go. Thankful that they were, you know, her little family was still around.
Yeah, thankful she's alive.
Yeah. And so it's like, and then that she was able to go back to be near her mom and stuff.
Well,
and
see, some people would not turn it in a positive direction.
Exactly. And I was just really like, wow, you know, and also she never brought that into her daily life. You never knew. I knew something was, you know, because she had like all these jobs and stuff, and she just kind of popped up out of nowhere. But I didn't realize the depth that she was basically rebuilding her whole life.
Right.
And that's a lot.
Yeah.
And,
you know, and, you know, the thing is, you know, fortunately she had insurance.
Yeah.
Some people don't think insurance is important, you know,
Yeah.
and so they make a decision.
Or they get like the bare minimum insurance,
bottom
that's
of the line
like
insurance.
Just to be legal, but then it doesn't help you.
Right, because they say, well, all that money I'm spending on, you know, $150 a month or whatever it is for insurance, I could be, you know, I can have, you know, dinner at Olive Garden or someplace or something, right? So, yeah, so they make choices.
Yeah.
And so, and then when things like that do happen, they don't have the ability to have friends to stay with. I mean, from my perspective, you're either going to need the time or the money or the friends. Those are the three things you're going to need no matter what happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need all three of those. Sometimes you just need more time. Sometimes you just need a little more money. Sometimes you just can talk to your friends, and you know. But sometimes you need all of that. And she was fortunate because she had all of that.
Yeah.
She had some time. She's still here. She had friends. She had, you know, insurance, and so that kind of thing. And so she's able to put her life back together and move forward. And in addition to that, be grateful for it. Be thankful.
Well, that's what I noticed when reading the thing. I don't always read everybody's stuff, but in reading it, she was just so overpouring with different stages of gratitude.
Right.
And it's like, well, that was taught to her too. I know she's an adult now, but it's like it was taught along the way.
Right, and so her ancestors,
yeah,
her parents or her grandparents or someone instilled that type of thought or
and that's what we were
her.
talking about with you need to make sure it's it goes beyond just okay, we're all sitting at the table, thank you for this meal, which is good. It's very powerful. You should be thankful for, but to instill it into more daily actions, thankful for, I guess it is a fine line because you don't want to, I guess, go too over the top that it's like discounts it, but I don't really see how you could do that.
The thing is, look, it's a lost art, if you will. But I'm the type of person, I still write cards. Yeah. I still write letters. And I still put postage on them, and I still mail them.
Yeah.
Because the electronic stuff, you can't touch it, you can't feel it, and you can't whatever. But it doesn't take a whole lot to take a few minutes out of your day to just go, wow, thank you for what you did for me. Love, Aunt Sally, whatever. Yeah. And, whatever. And send that to somebody and just say thank you. Yeah. And be grateful. That doesn't take a lot.
No.
But it's something that doesn't get done very often anymore. I mean, people still send like Christmas cards and things of that nature, but very rarely do you get, unless you bought a car from some dealership somewhere, they'll send you a happy birthday or something.
Or the dentist.
The dentist, they remember your life insurance.
Which is so interesting, like the dentist, those types of companies, they'll send you a card, but then family members, it's like a text or a Facebook post or a call, which is all great. But I like the handwritten
and so
mail
and the other
thing
is that letter you hear stories all the time of letters that get lost in the mail and get delivered 30, 40 years later, or something. But in general, letters make it where they're going eventually. A text, it can be lost along the way. Oh, I never saw that text.
I had 80 other people texting me happy birthday.
It got buried in there somewhere. I never, So it doesn't. Saying thank you and I'm sorry. Yeah. Instead of just acting like, I know this is about gratitude, but that's we should probably do a topic on that because some people and mean it.
Mean it. Not just I'm sorry, let's move on because I don't want to.
Because Mama told me I have to tell you I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
Mom said I can't play with my Play-Doh until I said sorry, and so.
Right.
But it's like you can't just. I mean, you can, but it kind of almost damages the relationship if something happens and then you just move on and act like nothing happened. Let's still be friends. Well, there's this piece of, hurt that's still there a little bit.
Well, it could be something you did that was inadvertent.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, you might have done something to somebody and not even know.
Exactly.
But they've been walking around for years now.
Yeah.
And because they don't have a spirit of gratitude, that they have a friend like you, that they have someone that they can depend on, well, they harbor ill will towards you. They harbor the fact he didn't tell me I'm sorry.
Well, it's so funny because I have a friend who said something, and I don't know why it was what came to my mind, but I was like, well, I don't keep score. Yeah. And it's like, a lot of people do that with their spouse or their boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse. And they're so easy to forgive and make sure that relationship stays solid. But then with friends or acquaintances or whatever, they're like, oh, well, they did this. And they just hold on to it. And some people do that with their spouses, too. Yeah. But I think it's easier for people to forgive their spouse just on a regular because they're always with them.
Well, it's like yesterday I was out walking the property, right? And we got... I call them tortoises, but they're actually turtles.
I didn't say that. I just wanted to know.
They live on land more than they do on water, in water. So actual,
Because you said a terrapin.
Yeah,
and then there was a terrapin, and then there's tortoise, and then a turtle. And I was like, well, I didn't even know there was a difference. So I went and looked at it. I wasn't trying to prove you wrong.
But it's okay. It's cool. It was a good education moment. We figured it out. But the point of what I'm trying to make is when I saw this turtle, and I thought I heard a tractor. I thought a neighbor was working. I thought he was going to come. And it was a guy across the way.
It was across the bridge.
But the turtle was in the road there, right? And so I went over to get the terrapin out of the road. And when I went to pick it up, it went inside its shell.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what a lot of people do in relationships. You know,
You come near them and they go inside their
well,
shell.
you've done something to them in the past, or they think you're going to do something to them, and then they don't talk to you for days.
Yeah.
Or they like, don't pretend to be my friend, or and they're turtle people.
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to somehow draw them out. And so once I got the turtle kind of comfortable with the fact that I wasn't going to eat him or her, whatever it was, I took it over, I put it in the grass and whatnot. It come back out of its shell, and it just went on about being a turtle and everything, or being a tortoise. And so it's that kind of thing. And so you have to learn what kind of people you're dealing with. Some people are turtles. And they're gonna.
Well, and it's because of things that happened in the past that kind of made them turtles.
Yeah, but it's part of their personality too. There are other people they're gonna. If you do something to them, they're gonna let you know, and they're not turtles. Okay, so yeah, it's just it's a different personality type. But the thing is, the point I'm trying to make with that is, you should always be praying for forgiveness, not just for the sins that you know about,
for what you don't know,
but for the unknown sins that you may have done. You may have cut somebody off, or you may have done something, or you may have got a bonus or an award or a promotion that somebody else wanted, and they've been harboring that against you for a long, and you don't even know. And so that kind of thing is, be content with your lot in life. Be content with what you have.
Your season.
Not with
you might be a blueberry, not a blackberry.
Be content with who you are and what you are and what you have, and not worry so much about other people.
Don't know what we're talking about? Go watch the other podcast
on berries and seasons and stuff.
Yeah, the seasons.
Yeah, but anyway, gratitude's a good topic, and I'm glad you.
Well, and someone said this one time about learned behaviors. And, kids go through different experiences or whatever, traumatic or otherwise, and they have learned behaviors.
Right.
And that can also be good things.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't have to be this, it's only bad things that they're learned behaviors. You teach your kids, and you teach your kids, too, by doing. If they don't ever see mom and dad doing whatever, then they don't experience it.
Not gonna,
Or it's like, we only eat cookies at grandma's house. Well, that's what life is,
Cookies and cake and cupcakes and pie.
She's calling them cupcakes. Now Chris is special.
Yeah.
Brought cupcakes. She's like, and then she gets it in her head. Lillian is not like that. That's what we discovered. Lillian's like, whatever about life. She gets it in her head, and she will not stop. I need the cupcake. I need it now. I'm not eating anything else until and then it's just like every 5 minutes. What about those cupcakes? I saw them. I need it. I need it. And it's like...
Well, the thing is it's your spirit, and you're in control of your body. So, you got to learn to tell your body, no, I can have the cupcake later. Or if I have one at all.
Yeah. Well, I just let her have it.
For every cupcake you eat, you have to eat a can of spinach. Okay, I don't like cupcakes anymore. So.
Now they have the fake cupcakes.
There's no such thing as a fake cupcake.
You put in extra, you put in vegetables or whatever into the cookies or the cupcakes to get your kids to eat vegetables.
Fake cupcake.
Silly. Chris makes some good cupcakes though.
Anyway,
now we're just off topic.
That's a good topic. Gratitude.
You gotta instill it in their mind. I mean, it's everything. We talk about that all the time with kids. They're watching you. And what you are doing, they will pick up on. Even if they're not doing it right now, they know it. Yeah. And so maybe you're not around. And parents hear that all the time. The kid's all a hot mess with the parent, and then they go over to the friend's house, and that parent's like, wow, they were just so great. They would listen to everything they said. We said, did all the things, and then you're like, what kid did you have?
Are we talking about the same?
Yeah, we talking about the same kid because they're listening to you and they're watching and paying attention. So even just having gratitude about simple things,
Well, like I say, when your kid actually says they're sorry, when sincerity in their heart, and they say it, and when they're expressing gratitude towards someone else or teaching someone, you have succeeded.
Yeah. You went full circle.
You can move to a new lesson.
Yep.
Something different. So yeah.
That is all that we have for you today. Go out and find something to be thankful for with your kids.
Absolutely.
And share the story with us. What did your kids... I mean, it's the time of Thanksgiving right now, so maybe we'll do a Friday, fun Friday on share your gratitude this week. So, see us next time. Like, subscribe, and share.
Thank you very much.